Welcome once again to a Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is a very unique and interesting knife. This is the Tsubaki Kori Aogami or Blue No. 2 Hakata 180mm knife. So there's plenty of stuff on the website on this, the blacksmith, the style of the knife. We'll just kind of show you the characteristics of it. The core steel, it's a 3-layer construction, and the core steel in the middle, the hard steel is Aogami or Blue Paper No. 2, reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi. Heat treat estimates around 62, 63 Rockwell's kind of target. The construction is old school soft iron cladding on either side of that harder core steel. And so it looks like the cladding might wrap a little around the top, but it's going to be a all reactive package no matter what. So there's no I don't think there's any, doesn't look like there's any lacquer on this. There's definitely, they don't have a kuda-uchi finish on it, so it's a really interesting look. A lot of times these style knives have a kuda-uchi finish on them, but they don't. So there's no stainless or anything. It's an all reactive blade, so you have to take care of it. Maybe get a patina on there if you like patina. The weight and dimensions is going to vary from knife to knife because of the way they're hand hammered and made. This particular one's about 5.4 ounces or 153 grams. The edge length is about 178 on this one. And again, that'll vary a little bit, or around 7 inches. Overall length about 324 millimeters or 12.75 inches. And the spine thickness, again, that's going to vary depending on how they're hammered. This particular one is about 3 millimeters above the heel, the back of the blade, the chin back there. And then halfway down I measured it about 2.25. And then this style of blade, it's kind of a take on the bunka style, but you can see the snout portion of it, or that triangular reverse sword tip, is much longer, and it's also, the tip's much lower than a lot of bunka style blades. So it's a unique kind of shape. It's an elongated, exaggerated angle here towards the front. So we pretty much hold that 2.25 thickness all the way down until we get to the very tip. And you can see the grind is not especially tall. You can kind of see that that's kind of where the grind kicks in, right in there. It's not super abrupt, but you can definitely feel it there. And then it's a little hard to describe, but the tip on this baby is like a whisper thin. It's like crazy thin on that last 1/4 inch or so, 1/3 of an inch maybe. It's like just almost not there. So performance, I've not used this blade, the very tip should be great on detail work and soft product. The let's see, the blade height is 49 millimeters, so generous on height, and you can see the neck's not too wide, so you got lots and lots of clearance here for your fingers. The handles, nothing fancy. It's Chef Knives to Go's kind of basic octagonal, a walnut handle with a maple ferrule. Pretty smooth fit and finish, pretty nice and tight install on the handle. Circumference is about 77 millimeters here, where the ferrule and the walnut meet, about 3.1 inches. And you've got enough spot there with the neck going into the handle to put your finger in there for a pinch grip. Balance point is right about there on this particular knife. It's fairly close to a pinch grip, maybe just a touch behind it, but still got a little bit of weight forward balance, a little bit of mass there. Again, the aesthetics are really cool on this. You can see the grind. You've got some embossed pressed in kanji on the right side of the blade. And then a nice kind of matte gunmetal gray finish to it. And you've got an embossed logo on the right, or excuse me, the left side of the blade. You can see the core steel peeking out from the cladding. This had a pretty, I guess maybe a 6 out of 10 on my scale edge on it. There's not much of a secondary bevel. It's kind of almost kind of zero ground, where they just take it right down to the edge. You'd have to see how that holds up as far as edge retention goes and edge deformation. You could always put a small micro, should say that's kind of redundant, a micro bevel on it if you wanted to beef up that edge just a little bit, maybe at a higher angle. Or try putting a small edge bevel on it if you want to do that. You can kind of tinker around with it. One of the characteristics is this is a very stiff blade, and the grind seemed fairly even to me, putting a straight edge on the side slabs at various points along the knife. But the real defining characteristic, this is almost like a Nikiri. So, I mean, it's flat, flat, flat. You are not going to rock with this. I'm not even going to try, because I start digging right there. So I will say with that low tip and how thin it is, you are going to have to watch that tip and mind it carefully and not ding it on things, and also not catch it on the cutting board, because right there, I can catch that super easy on the cutting board. You're going to have to mind that edge and mind that tip. But there's your profile, really, really flat, great chopper. These are just some of the defining characteristics of this style for this region and this smith. But really cool blade, a lot of character to it. Just enough wabi-sabi kind of imperfections to make you know this is a really, really well-made, handmade knife, and a cool aesthetic, different from the Kuda-uchi that you see, you know, yet it's got the iron cladding on it, soft iron cladding. So this is the Tsubaki Kori Blue or Aogami number 2 Hakata 180mm knife.